Tales of the TMNT Season 5, Episode 3, Heart of Evil. Really good episode. They did something really cool with Donatello in this, with him being like the mean one and stuff like that. It also touched a little bit more on the aspect of course, Leonardo being the leader, taking over for Master Splinter, and basically nobody really listening to him. It's like, yeah, I know you're the leader of the team, but you know, you're no Master Splinter. So, you know, he gets the advice, or he gives the advice, but nobody ever really listens to him. And Donny was definitely doing his own thing with Don Vizioso. I really loved that. I thought it was really fun to see Donatello go so dark in this episode. He was kind of losing it from the last time he dealt with Vizioso, where he was just pissed off. Like, this dude tried to eat me. Like, everyone's always trying to kill him. But it just, I don't know, I think it took it up a notch for Donny. And also, he was really close to doing it. So it was pretty awesome watching him go through this episode, where it was like they found out Vizioso had it, and he just lost it. Like, the whole episode was him going nuts, not listening to Leonardo in the beginning, where he breaks in, the ending where they're trying to go full stealth and he's doing it on his own. And it also sounded like he totally killed that one guy, because I think it was Raphael that said he was already doing it or something like that. It was like, man, you know, I think he was like evil Donny or like stealth Donny getting it done, and maybe that was Mikey, but he was like choking people out, and it sounded like he snapped the one dude's neck after he dropped him, and then, you know, he's going through the building because he was gonna kill him, like, until he finally saw his reflection in his own blade and like snapped him out of that rage he had for the entire episode. And I was like, that was just really good, and I love the way that they did that, where he was losing it. They even had him go like super dark at the end, and he's basically like growling at him like this is the end, and then he sees his own reflection. He's like, holy crap, like, I was about to kill this dude, like, that's insane. So he snaps out of it at the end, but it was certainly fun watching him go through this episode like that. It was just really, really cool. Like Raph put, he was like, you know, I'm impressed, you know, we don't get to see you like this, so it was kind of cool. But I really loved that side of the episode. Of course, we have Vizioso as our main villain, but naturally with the whole point of, you know, this new season, at least this first arc of the new season, it's resurrecting Shredder, which means we have Kavaxas and Tiger Claw. We get Bebop and Rocksteady to take over for Zevra and Razar from the last episode. So the two of them go in. Of course, they fail the first mission, so Kavaxas is super pissed off. He's, like I said, inching closer and closer to getting whatever it is that he wants. And it's really close to him either breaking free or possibly, I don't really know, because they reference it in this episode from Tiger Claw, where he's like, you know, you seem oddly committed to resurrecting my master. And Kavaxas doesn't really say much, but like, he's getting real upset. Like, he needs Shredder to come back for some specific reason. I don't know what that is, but Tiger Claw pointed it out in this episode. I'm like, he's definitely right. Like, he was really intense, and he's talking about, like, you know, don't fail me and stuff like that. And of course, Tiger Claw has to correct him. But I love it. I'm like, alright, don't really know where it's headed, but we're getting closer to whatever sort of disaster is about to plague, you know, the internal struggle of these villains, where we have, you know, this like demon from the underworld sort of deal going, and then Tiger Claw, who's like, his primary setting for his right arm is like him holding that amulet. Like, since the season started, his arm must have just been set to like clutch mode like this the whole time. Like, he literally flew into an action sequence in this episode like this. He came down behind Kavaxas with his hand just pointed straight out. I'm like, man, he can't even see the amulet right now. He's just pointing it straight at him. And it was just kind of funny, like, his hand is just set to just stone. Like, look at this, I got the amulet. And that's of course a big struggle in this episode towards the end, where we have all this craziness. It was a really great action sequence, and it was funny at parts, but man, Kavaxas came in this episode at the end. So we have Leo and Donny on the inside, or at least starting to get to the inside, and that's when Kavaxas shows up. So Leo has to end up saving Donny because Kavaxas comes in, and he is literally obliterating people. Like, he roasts two guys just on the street and hits them with fireballs. They just, nothingness is left. He swoops in, because they had one scene that was actually kind of cool, where the guy was freaking out, and they have like this shot of Kavaxas flying down. It's almost like a chest cam, and he grabs him and he just tosses him through the sky, and it looked really funny, but at the same time I was like, for the guy to be freaking out in the way they showed that angle, it was kind of creepy. It was like just this crazy giant creature is flying down. You're just a dude with a Tommy gun, you know, with a ski mask on, you know, the little the winter mask. And he just swooped down and picked him up and tossed him. I was like, holy crap, he is like destroying people. They're shooting missiles. The hammer dude is in this, and you know, I mentioned in the last episode, I'm pretty sure that Tatsu is dead. I also like to assume that the hammer is dead. I don't know if they're going to switch that up, where he was absorbing people's souls and stuff in order to, imbue like the zombie shredder that they're going to have or whatever. But maybe when they defeat him, that will allow them, like, all the souls will get released and everyone comes back to life as long as their body is still around. But, he was in this episode and he gets his soul sucked out. He even has, like, his full robot machine. They actually bring that out again. They actually find the exact same location, which I thought was really funny because when they first showed the room that they were in, I was like, didn't they get whooped up here last time? Like, why did they go back to the same location? Clearly they could break in. And now it's not only the turtles, but it's the turtles. Of course, I don't think April, she didn't have her powers at the time, so it wasn't April, wasn't Karai really teaming up with them, because I don't think she was even there last time they dealt with Vizioso. So it's like, not only is it the turtles, but they got Karai and April, and then they have, of course, Kavaxas, Tiger Claw, Bebop and Rocksteady coming in. So it's just this crazy all-out battle. I'm like, why the heck did he go back there? That was a terrible idea. So, of course, they get beat up. The turtles win, and then Kavaxas wins because he comes in, blows off the side of the building, which I think is exactly how it played out last time too. Like, they blew up the room, and the Leo and Donny get knocked out. Kavaxas ends up getting the heart after all this chaos, but Tiger Claw, of course, still holds the amulet because they were going through, this crazy battle sequence where April is able to use her abilities, and she's trying to learn how to use the amulet, but unfortunately she couldn't tap into its power to actually control Kavaxas. So I thought that was pretty cool that they at least touched on that. Maybe we'll get to see it again. And I assume we will. I'm curious how long Kavaxas is going to stay as, the new big bad villain of the season. So I'm really curious how in the world that stuff is going to play out for them. But looking forward to April getting her hands on the tablet again, or the little amulet, and really being able to tap into its power to control Kavaxas and maybe just banish him and be like, just get out of here because you're killing everybody and we don't want to die. So I thought it was cool that they kind of touched on that. I love the fight sequence, or it was more of a chase sequence really, where he's trying to just constantly get the amulet from everybody. And it starts actually, sorry about that. It actually starts with Tiger Claw and Mikey, which is really cool. And then it ends with Mikey just dropping off of the train. He's like, yeah, it's done. And he just drops off the train. I thought he was going to whip down and land safely. And he legitimately just fell to the ground. I was like, wow, he's been getting beat up. Like the end of the last episode, after Tatsu kicked him and Shinigami, she of course is in the hospital right now. But he had the bandage over his eye after that whole fight. And then this one, he's all wounded. They're like, we have to get you back to the lab and heal you up. I'm like, man, they are just whooping on Mikey in these 2 episodes. It was kind of crazy. But, that leads into the crazy chase sequence where we have Kavaxas actually going through Karai, April, and Raph, trying to constantly get this little amulet, and they're tossing it to each other and stuff. And it was just really good. There's a scene where Raph was trying to die for it, but he gets hit by the fire and stuff. And I was like, this is a really good fight sequence. It was a really long fight sequence. I feel like it was almost half the episode was that ending battle. And it was all just really cool because we have a lot of different elements inside of it, because it's like, all right, well, of course, the villains are trying to get the heart for Shredder. Kavaxas, as his own villain, is trying to get the amulet to protect himself. Of course, the Turtles are trying to stop both Kavaxas, so they're trying to get the amulet as well as the heart. And then we have, Donny on his own personal mission as well. So there are, a bunch of stories all wrapped up into just one giant fight sequence that even expanded, down to the point where it was a train chase. So I just love the way they did the action, where it's, on top of the building, on the street, inside the building, eventually when they got to Leo and Donny taking the people out and get into the room to fight the twins. And it was just really cool. I love the way they did it. It was a really great fight sequence, really fun episode, and I'm very excited, of course, because now they have whatever they're going to do with Shredder. I mean, they have the helmet, they have his heart, they are going to, kind of bring him back, and we'll see exactly how all that stuff plays out. Of course, my recording, I swear to God, I don't know what the timing is, but it's always an extra minute that is always cut off every time I watch this stuff. Anytime I record Ninja Turtles, it always cuts off for a minute, or a minute early, right before it gets to that final thing. So I'm assuming Shredder's hand raises up or something like that to show that he's alive, but I didn't get to actually see that. So I'm just going to assume that's what happened, even if it didn't. He's coming back in the next episode because, of course, they have all the pieces that they need. So I am looking forward to this next episode. This was definitely a great action sequence at the end there. Definitely a great story for Donny, just losing his mind. We get to see Bebop and Rocksteady fight it out, which was pretty fun. We get to see Karai and April team up as, I think they call it, like, I forgot what the heck Mike called it. Some Team Babe something. But, you know, they have the whole team together, which is pretty cool, and they deal with Bebop and Rocksteady in the beginning, specifically Bebop, and he, like, blows up the entire motorcycle when he throws, like, the little laser boomerang thing, his little laser mohawk, I guess, and it just destroyed the motorcycle. I was like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. But April uses her power, she saves herself, and she's able to save Karai. And also, this is something, maybe I've just been missing it, but the fact that her eyes turn blue when she uses her powers, I feel like that's new. I mean, maybe that was in the last episode, but even then, I don't think that was the case beforehand when she was using her powers. Like, we've seen her do it, and maybe it's just when it's really intense, her eyes actually turn blue, and I was like, I don't remember ever seeing that happen before. So maybe I'm wrong. The only other time I remember that happening is when she was, like, actually losing control of her powers. And I think this is kind of a part of that, where they mentioned after they were able to, like, get rid of the crystal, she's much stronger than she was before she had the crystal, just not as strong as when she did have the crystal. So I think that's kind of her tapping into, like, the limits of her powers when her eyes actually turn blue. Because it was like a last minute thing. They're both flying through the sky, and she kind of has to, you know, save them. And there's another scene, and I want to say it was when Kavaxas, like, shot fire at her specifically. It was like at the last minute she had to, like, do it to save herself. So it was just like she had to make sure it was the shield, like, formed faster or something like that. So I remember seeing it twice, but I was like, I don't recall that ever really happening beforehand, where her eyes actually changed colors when she used her powers. Like, even when she was trying to do it, like in the premiere actually, when Kavaxas was walking towards her, she's like, why can't I push you? Her eyes didn't change colors when that happened. So I was like, that's definitely something that doesn't happen every time she uses her powers. So I feel like that's what that is. It's just her tapping into, like, the limits of her powers, like going to, like, the next level, rather than just, you know, floating a sandwich or something really simple, like, that's easy for her. So that was a nice little thing that was in there. I think it was only 2 different sequences when that actually happened, but I definitely noticed it because I'm like, her eyes never turned blue before. So thought that was cool. Angry Donny, it's pretty awesome. He was just doing this thing. He was going through, and it was actually really fun. But love the episode. Very excited for the next one. Of course, would love to know what you guys thought about this one. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, at least favorite parts. And I definitely want to know what do you guys think is going to happen with the Zombie Shredder. How long is Zombie Shredder going to be a part of the show? Is it going to? I would love to know what they're going to do for a voice. Like, is it going to be Kevin Michael Richardson coming back? Are they going to, you know, like, change up his voice, but it's still going to be him? Because it's not the same body. I mean, he's in the opening, of course, where it's like the weird zombified Shredder. He's super skinny and stuff. So I'm like, is he going to sound the same? You know, how are they going to play around with that? But we'll love to know what your theories are for how that might play out. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.